Hello there, my name's Tim Walter and I'm a house healer and an alternative life coach. Now we are lucky enough to live in the North Yorkshire Dales here in England. So what I want to talk to you about today is the spirit of place, how you can tune into the spirit of place, or the genius loci as it's been known through history, even if you live in the city. It's just a couple of days after the Celtic festival of Beltaine, so the land here is starting to wake up after winter as the energy of new life rises under our feet and the warmth of the sun starts to gain ground in the otherwise still chilly northern air. The spirit of place in such an environment can almost be tangible if we make time in our busy lives to sit quietly, observe, be mindful and have enough respect for the sacred land around us. In an environment like this, it's easy to imagine, if you like, the ley lines and the earth energy travelling across the landscape, across this rural environment. It's so rugged and wild. When I say imagine, I don't mean it in the sense of making it up, but it's very easy to feel that there could be something here. In a city, it's less easy, but you can douse and find earth energy and ley lines running through cities too. And we'll be touching on how you deal with genius loci, the spirit of place, in a city a bit later on in the video. Spirit of place is that undefinable quality of a place being aware of your presence, sometimes called the genius loci. It's been depicted through history as a protective spirit or guardian. And of course, if you go to a sacred site such as a ring of standing stones, it's easy to imagine that there could well be an actual personality associated with the place. Now here in a landscape, the same thing applies. Way back in Roman times, genius loci was often depicted as a figure carrying a snake. And of course snakes are also symbolic of earth energy because of the way it weaves across the landscape. Dowsing, of course, is one way to have a conversation with spirit of place. But there are other ways too. And that really is just to have the conversation in terms of you as a being and the place as a being. And what do I mean by that? By that I really mean to be observant of what happens in your reality, what occurs, what comes into your reality when you tune in and you try heartfelt to tune in to the landscape, to the land. We can have a conversation with the genius loci by simply watching what happens in our reality when we open up with good intent, and by using the two complementary mindsets of gratitude and respect. To have respect for the land in which you're working, respect for the people with which you're working, respect for yourself is incredibly important. Once you bring in the effect of respect in a mindful way, then you're really starting to power up the power of intent. And that really is at the root of the sort of work that we do here and the sort of work that house healing is about. But let me illustrate this with something from my own experience when I was having a conversation with a tree. Yes, a tree. Now, although this is about me and a tree, the same thing applies if you're sitting quietly in a landscape or sitting quietly in your flat, for example, tuning into the land on which your flat is built. Some of you will know that my wife and I have not long moved into our current house, and the garden was very overgrown, so we've had to do a lot of work to it. Some of that work, unfortunately, has meant cutting down trees that were threatening to destroy the walls of the house. And we had a beautiful tall conifer tree, rather like the larch we've got elsewhere, that was just here at the back of the house by the boiler house. But we had to take it down because it was destroying the wall. I really was reluctant about doing that. And on the day that the chap came to help us take it down, I came out here to talk to the tree. I tuned in, you know, I went into that kind of meditative state. I was really very, very sorry to have to do this. And I told the tree this, and I was upset at having to do this. But I said, look, we're going to have to do it. I want, you know, please, if it's in alignment with divine will, because we always tend to ask for these things to be in alignment with divine will, then I would ask that the spirit of the tree moved on. Perhaps went to the light, and then it could start to think about coming back again as something else. I know it sounds bizarre, but this is what I did. This is what you start to do when you start to talk with nature spirits. And I did this with a huge amount of respect for the tree, and I told the tree that although we're going to take it down and we will be burning the wood, we'll burn that wood and use that wood and remember the tree and celebrate the life of the tree when we use that wood inside in the house in the evening. Now, even now, as I'm telling you about that again, I'm actually getting quite goosebumpy here, because I actually feel quite emotional about it. And that is a sign of how much my heart was in alignment with actually this process of showing respect to this tree. Because the amazing thing that happened was I wanted to know that the tree had understood. And so when we want recognition that the universe is listening to us and is acknowledging what we're doing on this subtle energy level, we ask for a sign. And I said, please, if you understand and you're okay with this, then send me a sign. And as soon as I said the word sign, I was standing here, the trunk was here, I was actually holding it like this, and I had my head like this, and a bird flew in literally and landed right here, just literally inches away from me. I felt the breeze of its wings come in and land, and it's there. And I just drew back a little bit to look at it, and I expected it to fly away again. And it didn't. It stayed there on the trunk of the tree, just literally here, a foot away from my face. But what was really special was that bird was a tree creeper. Tree creepers are incredibly shy, but not only that, I'd been trying and wanting to see a tree creeper because I was quite keen on bird watching when I was younger. So since a child I'd wanted to see a tree creeper, and I never had. And here, on that occasion, it was literally straight in as soon as I asked for that sign. A very, very simple thing, but that memory is going to stay with me for the rest of my life because it was gobsmacking. And that is the sort of magic that you can get when you interact and you work with the energy of the universe, the spirit energy, if you like, in your day-to-day life. But you do so with gratitude and with respect. Be open to everything and anything that can happen for you. Just look for those little synchronicities when you ask for a sign, and ideally ask for a sign that you'll recognise. Now, if you live in a city, you might be thinking, well, how on earth do you tune in to the genius loci of where you live? Well, you can do, and the best thing that you can do in order to achieve this is go out and buy a potted plant, or fix up a window box, something where you've got earth that you can actually touch and you have something growing in it. And then when you sit in meditation, tune into that plant in the pot, tune into the earth in that pot or window box, and remember that it's connected to the earth anywhere on the planet. So in a way, you're connecting through that lump of earth that you have in your flat, through to a landscape, through to the Yorkshire Dales if you want to. But you're connecting to Mother Earth. Everything is connected, and our paths of self-development are linked to absolutely everything around us. It doesn't mean to say that absolutely everything that occurs to us is a sign from the management. But when you drop into the suitable mindset and you ask for signs, then for sure you're interacting with that intelligent ether that is around us. And if that be interacting with the spirit of place, then all the better. When we open the door to this kind of possibility, to this sort of spiritual existence and this spiritual side of ourselves, this mind-body connection, if you like, then we open the door to being fully ourselves, and we can work with the balance and harmony that we can find within ourselves when we realize who we truly are. So do give this a go, do try and contact the genius loci of where you live. Let me know how you get on in the comments below. And if you like this video, then click the subscribe button and click on the little bell icon to get notified when I upload new ones, which I'm hoping are going to be approximately weekly from now on. So thank you very much for watching, and take care until next time.